It's
Man,
bad.
don't.
From South Park.
Oh man, I don't want to be Kenny from South Park, bro.
No,
Everybody, thank you guys for joining us again for another live episode of the What Are We Doing series at Pursuit of Purpose. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today we have with us a guest in studio,
DJ Man.
DJ Man. Now, you left off the TV part.
Well, I'm just DJ Man.
DJ
DJ Man
Man.
TV is the
Okay.
brand, the business.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So this show is going to be a little bit of a continuation from last week. Last week we talked about a pretty hot topic, pretty charged topic, and we got off the rails a little bit with one of our guests we had, and that's okay. That's part of having a podcast and keeping it live. So we thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being a part of our show. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of the pursuit of your purpose.
Yes.
And since this is Thanksgiving week, I want to say that I am very thankful. I'm thankful for these two gentlemen sitting beside me. I'm thankful for our audience. I'm thankful for the opportunity and the freedom to come to you, to speak to you like this about pretty well anything that we want within reason. And thank you for letting me do that. I am grateful.
Yes. And I echo that, my friend. Thank you. It's been an outstanding couple of years of putting all this together, a few years, and thank you for being a part of our family and making this just a rich experience for both of us. And it's only getting better every day. And we hope that we're dedicated as you are to getting the most out of life, and thankful for the God that supplies.
That's it, man. That's it. Well, I want to give a thank you too, man. Thank you to all the guys and girls out there that follow this podcast, man, and make this a thing, man, because you guys are doing some numbers right now.
Well, we appreciate that.
Thank you, Ken.
I also want to thank y'all too, man. You know, y'all have really been a great help to me in my journey in life, man, ever since I met you two guys. So, you know, I thank God for putting this union together.
Well, we appreciate you.
Yes,
I really do,
sure
man.
do.
You know, met you, man, golly, 2.5 years ago, something like that, at the Unity Conference, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And we just kind of became fast friends.
That's it.
It didn't take much, did it?
Yeah, not at all.
We got a lot of good friends out of that conference.
And I'd like to say this, and I hope it doesn't offend anybody, but honestly, I don't care if it does. I am grateful for Jesus Christ being my Lord and Savior. And I'm grateful that he has provided me with enough grace that I still exist on this earth,
Amen,
that I still have a voice to come to you and be able to speak out loud, because by all rights, I shouldn't exist anymore. I've earned myself a place in the next life.
Yeah.
So I am grateful and thankful for that. I'm thankful for my family, for all 1,000 of our children that we have. And anyway, I wanted to say that on the air, just in case any of them are watching. Love you guys, and I'm grateful for y'all.
And, one last thing.
Go ahead.
I got to say, I'm thankful also, of course, to my family, but for my boy Big Boom. Today is his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Big Boom.
Boom.
Yo, man,
Yes.
DJ Man TV would not be what it is, man, without Big Boom. So shout out to him.
He's a good friend too. He's been around. He's come up here.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
If y'all want to see a man with some crazy facial expressions, y'all look up Big Boom. That man has got some crazy eyes. He'll be like, get them big wide eyes on you. He can't really hide what he's thinking.
No,
you know, he ain't got no poker face, boy.
No.
He just kind of lays it all out there.
Well, it is definitely an abundant life, and we are living it. And we're thankful every day.
Yes. Well, today is going to be an extenuation of the topic that we discussed last week. And that topic is slavery. Slavery. And does it still exist in America? What does it look like now? Who are the slaves? Who are the masters? What is it doing to us as a culture, as a society? And what are the results? What are the causes? What are the effects? You know, all those kind of things. That's the topic for today. We'd love to hear from you if any of you want to get involved. We're going to stay on point today. We're going to stay on target. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this up, let you pitch in because you're the guest today.
For sure.
He was supposed to be here with us last week, but he got tied up with something else, some other engagement he had to do. Yep. He's a man of many hats. He does a lot of things, and his first priority, of course, is to provide for his family, and I'm proud of him for that. And he does a good job. So he was unable to be with us. So one of the forms of slavery, in fact, one of the most prevalent forms of slavery in America today, especially, is financial slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways that that is enacted, one of the ways that it manifests itself is when we become positioned in a way to expect entitlements, financial entitlements from the government or others, when we expect them, not when we're in absolute dire need, but when we live a lifestyle of believing that we deserve it.
For sure.
And I myself, and I talked about this last week, I've actually had to be the recipient of help programs here in America. Having been through some pretty serious natural disasters, some pretty hard times in our family as a child and as an adult, I can tell you that those benefits, when used correctly, boy, they are very valuable. And I was very grateful to have been able to take part in them. But at the same time, we have a system that can be manipulated and abused. And that creates a form of slavery. And it's a very fine line to walk between being oppressed and enslaved or being a one who earns and owns your life. Can you see that?
Yeah, I do. But when you look at it at that, you're talking about accepting, let's just say, help from like the government, right? That's not really, I don't really consider it slavery per se, because it's a choice. So you just choose to live a lesser fulfilling life. You choose to limit your options in life. These are choices. Slavery wasn't a choice.
Actually, it was.
It was not a choice.
So
Rob.
let's
Don't
talk
do
about
this.
that. Let's talk about that.
Let's stay on topic, because
This
this
is
gonna
on
go
topic.
way off. This is gonna go way left.
No,
It doesn't have to. Just
Doesn't have to.
go with me a little
Okay,
bit.
come on.
So what comes first? The slave or the master? That's a deep question,
Oh my
but I want you to
Lord.
really think about this. What comes first?
What you like? What, to the location first? Because
No.
slaves.
What comes first in existence?
because that is a relationship, albeit not a healthy one, but it is one.
This is
Which part
crazy.
comes first, the slave or the master?
I don't know. It's like if I came to your house to rob your house and I duct tape you and your family, who came to the house first? You or your family?
My family.
So that's the answer.
But it's not.
How?
So that's a very different scenario.
How?
So for a person to become enslaved, what has to happen?
They have to be taken into slavery.
Okay. Let me go over an example with you, okay? And that way you'll understand my direction with this.
Talk to me, Rob. This is getting crazy.
We had a world war that we were a part of as a nation, right?
Yep.
A little less than 100 years ago, right?
Uh-huh.
Where we had this oppressive force in Germany, right?
Okay.
And this crazy man named Adolf Hitler, right? That people were following. And he said that might is right, and all else besides his race, besides his type, all else were lower type life forms, right? He said that. I'm paraphrasing, but that was his message, right?
Definitely justified it.
And they started rounding up people, right? Forcing them into concentration camps, putting them in a position to become enslaved or killed, or all of the above, right? Now, here's what I'm getting at. This will draw it all together. There are people, not many, but there are people still alive today who experienced that on both sides. People who experienced the incarceration and enslavement or capture, and then people who were part of the oppressive force that took charge. Some of the Jews that were captured and rounded up refused to become slaves. Some of them. Some of them accepted that as their fate, and most of them didn't live. But it was their mentality that took them there. Now, in America, we have this, what we look at as a racial divide.
You do know that argument that you just made just now, that wouldn't even hold up in court, bro.
Well, we're not in court.
This is the court of public opinion.
Okay. So these people who refuse to be a part of being enslaved survived.
Okay.
They created a legacy of survival.
Okay.
The same thing happened here. That's how the Civil War took place. Was a people decided they would not keep taking part in slavery.
But we're talking about the beginning of slavery. I thought that's what
But we're going here now. I'm gonna bring it forward. I'm gonna bring it all together.
Okay, come on.
What's first, the mindset of the slave or the mindset of the master?
The mindset of the master.
Are you certain?
Yeah, because if they would have never came and started messing with people, we wouldn't have a situation.
So how did that begin in Germany? Have you ever looked at it?
No, but we're talking about it as a whole, or we're talking about a specific thing, because that's two different things.
Well, we're talking about it as a whole.
Like, no, because your question, your prompt was about slavery and choosing finances, a handout, and is that a slavery mindset, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're talking about slavery, an act of violence and a torture that people didn't even ask to be a part of. They were forced into a situation of having to choose life or death. These people that you're asking about, a lot of them taking advantage of a situation because it's available, not because it's a life or death situation. Nobody forced them to take anything.
What if that other system started out the same way?
What if it didn't? Because it didn't.
But it did.
It did not.
It actually did.
So you mean to tell me they gave people a choice to be a slave?
In the beginning, the mindset was developed as, we will give you protection. We will give you free stuff. We will be the person responsible for your fate. We will protect you. Come to us for all your answers. That's how Hitler took power. He started in the mind. He taught people to, or that faction taught people to seek refuge.
But that's a particular situation. All slavery don't start off that way. Like I told you, it's like slavery and kidnapping is pretty much the same.
No.
Both are taken without asking to be part of that situation.
Not at first. Now, if you go back.
Come on, explain to me what you mean, not at first, because that's crazy.
At first, the mindset has to be shifted from an independent earner to someone who is expecting and entitled.
Facts. So if you sitting there watching TV and I kick in the door and butt you in the head with the shotgun, and now you on the floor leaking and you can't see, your family is worried. Yeah, you have the choice. You want your daddy to take a bullet or you want him to live?
But that's
now the choice is yours. So it ain't me. It ain't my mindset. It's your mindset. Which one did you choose?
So that's a different scenario. That's an abrupt, violent shift. Slavery doesn't typically happen that way, especially on a cultural level.
So let's say you invite me into your house, and now I come and stay with you. Oh, dang, I think I said something wrong.
You talked about the violence part.
I can't do that?
Kicked off. No, you can't talk about.
Okay, my bad. I gotta stay with propaganda.
So back to where we were.
My bad.
So we got kicked off of TikTok for the first time ever. Good job.
That's crazy. So that lets you know right now, don't speak truth on
well, they don't want to talk about graphic violence.
My fault, internet.
So what we're addressing here, Ken, and there may be different paths to get to the same conclusion. But when Rob brings up the history of the early 20th century in Germany, those folks, they were lulled into a codependence. The state did that.
Yes.
And they had just come out of World War I. They were bankrupt. They had nothing. They barely had bread. They barely had meat. And so,
kind of like where we're gonna be in a few years. We keep
Well,
going
If
the
we
same.
keep practicing entitlement,
that's right.
Yeah,
So
we keep going the
that's
same.
what I was getting at. That's why I
So-
was trying to bring it together.
it wasn't by accident that someone saw that as an advantage. Well, let us be your parents. That's why they call Hitler the Führer, which is a father.
Mhm.
So he presented himself as a parent, or at least the National Socialist Party did. And then an entire country, including the Jews, okay, basically became codependent on the country providing. Now, there were a few who still had that abundant, ambitious mentality. They're out there growing businesses and those sorts of things. And eventually, those were the ones who were seen as threats. So when they did, and they did use violence, as you pointed out, they did eventually. When all that happened, it became this complete 180-degree shock to their system. They were lulled into this complacency, and then they brought in violence. And we won't go into who they recruited, but it's not
The
pretty.
complacency started in a way to weaken the people.
You know what that kind of sounds like? It sounds to me like the projects in the crack era.
It may very well be similar. I can see parallels to that,
Mhm.
but it's more openly done currently still in America through the entitlement programs that can be manipulated and used. That's why parties play this game during elections and all this stuff, because those programs, the promise of free stuff, is a manipulation to gain votes. It's a mind game. Nothing's free. Nothing. If you got the thing that was called free, then you owe them the vote. That's the payment. If you don't give them the vote, the free stuff's going to go away.
Right.
Man, you're really making me think here, because this is how they manipulate to get votes.
That's exactly right.
And what do votes give them?
Power.
Power. It's all about the power.
And that's how
So
this
you know
modern
who
version of
don't
it.
vote?
Hmm.
Contrary to popular belief, the Black community don't vote, but yet we're called Democrats. But a lot of the Black community don't vote. That's the reason why the local elections look the way they look, because we don't cast a vote. So who are they taking advantage of? Like, who are they doing this stuff to?
And it may actually be, that may be part of the manipulation, because they
It
know
could
that if
be.
you did vote, you wouldn't vote their way.
Yeah.
So if they keep giving the free stuff, they don't have to vote. Maybe that's part of it. I've never thought of it that way.
So you think because they give free stuff, Black people don't vote?
I'm not saying
No,
Black
no.
people. I'm saying people with the entitlement mindset.
No, okay, because I was saying, like, this is something that we complain about in our community, as in the Black community, right?
Okay.
We don't vote, and we try to figure out why is it that we don't vote. We cannot get our people to come out and vote, even when it's something for the betterment of that environment. We will not go and vote. But then when you say this, and this is how they manipulate votes and stuff, it's like, okay, well then who are they going after? Because we don't even vote.
So
Maybe that's why. Maybe.
why are people encouraged? I'm sorry.
No, go
why
ahead.
are people encouraged to vote? This is just playing the psychobabble game here a little bit. Why are they? They are encouraged to either maintain a status or to attain more from that status.
Mhm.
Meaning, if I'm voting if I'm a business owner and their intent is to help me on my expenses, such as taxes and things like this, so I can open up more jobs, I can grow my business, I can grow your business, man. You understand that? Well, I'm going to vote for someone who's going to promote that, or I'm going to vote for someone who's going to maintain whatever I'm able to get. I don't want that messed up. So to keep things a certain way, there's your complacency.
Gotcha.
And so if they realize that they have a portion of a population that doesn't want that messed up, well, they don't really want them to be informed, because if they got informed, they might choose differently, first of all. And then and second of all, they want those people to stay in a position of need, because when there's a position of need, there's a position of power to supply the need. And those people want to keep their power.
I'm still kind of, because because we're talking about people that's taking advantage of free stuff from the government.
And I'm not even saying that they're necessarily taking advantage. I'm saying that the system is
What
a
a-
game.
Yeah,
But yes,
yeah.
keep
So,
going.
but according to stats, that's not even the Black community.
Well, I didn't say it was.
So I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, why is it? Because you're saying that they use this to manipulate people to vote one way or the other,
100%.
and it just made me think, like, we don't vote.
But it's not. See, I didn't say Black community.
No,
or
no,
white
no. I
community.
know. I'm just. It made me think, like, why don't? It's like we don't vote. So
Are there more than one way? Is there more than one way to vote?
a non-vote is a.
That's exactly right. A
Exactly.
non-vote is a
If you
vote.
choose not to decide, you still made a choice.
That's a manipulation still.
That's right. Or if I'm voting with my purchase, if I'm
Yeah.
still signing up for programs and I'm not improving myself, I'm staying in some state of perpetual need when I don't have to. We know there are some folks that
But
do.
looking at the stats,
Here's a twist for you.
Come on.
So you know who plays the game in DC? You know there's lobbyists, right?
Yeah.
Lobbyists that work for big corporations of all kinds.
Yeah.
And
So
that's who
they finance.
they use their money to gain influence, to gain more money, to gain more power.
Yeah.
Right. So
for
here,
their shareholders.
go with this, okay?
Yeah.
Because you're a smart guy, you're a business guy, you think like this. Imagine, if you will, the stats on where entitlement funds go. Did you know that it's all trackable?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you know what the stats are on what's the number one purchase
What's the number one purchase?
with entitlements?
What's the number one purchase?
Sodas.
So when you say entitlement, are you talking like food stamps?
Something like that. SNAP.
SNAP.
Let's just
Okay.
use SNAP as a for instance.
Yeah.
Because it's the easiest quantifiable for the show and easiest relatable nationwide.
Gotcha.
So we'll stay away from state and local stuff. We'll just talk about SNAP for this moment. Just for this moment. Number one purchase, soft drinks.
Yeah.
So imagine if you were a lobbyist for a soft drink company.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you would
Easy target, right?
Yeah, you would definitely want to put your money in.
So
Those are
then,
consumers.
number two purchase. Do you know what it is?
What's that?
Candy.
I thought you were gonna say coffee, but
No,
yeah.
no. Soft drinks and candy. Number
That's
one
crazy.
and number two. And that's not that has zero to do with
the reason why that was, and I don't want to make things racial. I'm really just trying to figure out this manipulation thing. So please excuse me if race come up. That's not my point. Isn't about race. It's about manipulation.
okay.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. That's the enslavement. The modern enslavement in America is done through this type of
I just hate that
manipulation.
because unfortunately the stats are broken down by race. So that's all I have to go by. So it's not a race thing. But when I look at politics, they're always saying how we're being manipulated and stuff, right? So if we're looking at what you're saying, Asians, Hispanics, and blacks. Well, blacks, Hispanics, Asians are second, third, and fourth on SNAP benefits in 2025. White people are number one in SNAP benefits. So if they're getting manipulated in the voting column, then where is it the manipulation for us coming in? Because that's all I ever heard.
Well, I didn't mention race at all.
No, I brought up race because I brought it up because I was looking at the stats to see, okay, like who are we talking about? I just wanted to get a better understanding of what the numbers looked like. But then when you brought up the manipulation, it made me think when I look at other platforms, I'm not gonna say their name, but it always talked about how the Democrats use the black votes and they do this and they do that, and this whole SNAP benefits stuff and it's just all manipulation. But then when I look at the stats, if it's manipulation, that would mean, according to the stats, that the white portion of America would be manipulated.
I'm telling
But
you
that's not the reason why I question it is because I really blew my mind because that's not the narrative. I really was thinking like, okay, like they're manipulating us on votes.
They are.
So here's a question.
But it's not about the black community.
So those numbers you're reading,
Yeah.
are those like more solid figures, or are they percentages?
They're percentages.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
They make a difference.
Well, the reason it is because there are statistically more Caucasian people in America than there
So
are
it would
of
be
any other.
more.
So
Yeah.
so if there's statistically, that means there would be more
Gotcha.
white people. But
can't
if
be
you
any
if
other
you
way.
use those
Yeah.
same if you use those same percentages and say bring them into a smaller racial community like the African Americans or the Asians, well then it may be numerically actually more of
But
that
the percentage
those
is big.
groups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got you. I got
yeah. So that's why it may seem perceptively why it seems like more of certain demographics are on the system rather
I
than
got
not.
you. So it's like saying 30% of the white population might be 1 million,
Right.
but 20% of the African population or African American population could be 2.3 million.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. That's exactly what I'm
Got
saying.
you.
And I'm not looking at your figures, but I'm just kind of
I
rolling
got
over
you.
what you're telling us.
So back to where we were going. This is the important part of this.
Okay.
I was working to bring us together on something, and I know it got emotional, and that's okay.
No, it was just.
But I hope your mind is starting to see where this is
I'm
headed.
following.
Okay, so where are we in America in comparison to? And I'm gonna take this crazy. Okay,
Okay.
You're not ready, but
Okay.
just be patient.
I
Don't
got
get upset.
I'm not upset. I'm not
Okay,
upset.
where are we in America in comparison to where, number one, Nazi Germany was, and then go back further than that, where what happened to the people in Africa?
Mhm.
If you were to go back and study the tribesmen that were captured and enslaved by the other tribesmen and then sold to the Europeans, I would bet that if you studied hard enough, the one tribe put themselves as the savior of the other tribe first to create the enslaved mindset so that they could be sold profitably into
Do
slavery.
you know that for a fact?
No, I do not. I'm saying
So
speculatively.
this is what
I would like to learn.
This is what I don't know. I've read this somewhere and I can't find it again, but I read this some years back. Have y'all seen the movie Woman King or heard of it?
No.
So there was a group of people in Africa that didn't want to be. It was a group of women. They didn't want to be ruled by man. So when the king fell, I believe it was his daughter took over, and she wanted just women to rule, right? So they were the hunters. They did everything, right? So they were going against culture, and they didn't have respect from the other tribes in Africa. No one wanted to deal with them, but they would have to because they had the resources. It was that same group of females that sold people into slavery to the Europeans. Now, this is the controversy part. That you can track it through documents, but I read that the people that she sold, she said they look like us, but they're not from here. She said, I won't sell you African people into slavery. I'll sell you some that look like us, but they're not from here. And those are the people that they sold into slavery.
That's fascinating.
It is.
But wouldn't it be fascinating to learn how, like, we may never be able to figure this out because documentation may be lacking.
Yes.
But how that happened, because I'll tell you this. If you go out and you capture someone, a full-grown person, you capture him, put him in a cage, minimal injury, and then you sell them in the cage, they're looking for an opportunity to get out. They're looking for an opportunity to escape, and they do not accept the fate as being sold as a slave because their mind has not been manipulated. They are not enslaved in their mentality.
So,
and it doesn't matter what color they are.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. So here's how I always perceived it. I always thought it was a group of people that were, she said, north of them. They were just minding their business, living life. And they're not into the war and all this stuff that she got going on.
Yeah.
So when they came, they helped take them into slavery. And they were responsible for putting them into bondage. And then they just helped them load them onto the ship. Well, if you got people that's not really, into war and all this other stuff, man, they really just living and surviving.
But they had something that those people needed. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been attractive.
Possibly, given the same continent,
Yeah.
possibly that's how the original Israelites got sucked into slavery in Egypt. Because in the beginning, they gave them land. Joseph, who was a Hebrew who promoted, gave them land on the eastern front, facing what would have been Canaan, where eventually they would go, and they were the defense. And they could prosper, they could be whatever, but at some point their numbers became a threat. And so they first started lulling them. They made them an agricultural society rather than a warrior society. But yet all the riches still came from Egypt. Egypt was their big purchaser, and they worked and they sold and they traded, and they lulled them and lulled them and lulled them until eventually they took all their weapons and they replaced them with farming tools, and then they had no defense. And then at that point, they were easily manipulated.
Now, it's funny that you say that, because I didn't want to go there, but it said that was the people that was taken into slavery. Now, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. I don't really subscribe to that philosophy or mindset. But that's where that I don't even know if it's a religion, but that's what that mentality comes from. It's from the same thing that you just said.
Okay.
When you put those two instances together,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you get that. And I don't know if that's true, so I just leave it alone, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I contend, this is me, Robert Martin. Y'all can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm no authority, but I contend that what I have seen and studied and learned throughout history, the slave comes first. The slave, there can be no master without a slave. Who are you the master of?
Well,
the mindset has to be shifted into one of
don't it take
dependency.
Some manipulation first?
Yes, but that's not a master. That's if I can manipulate you, what do you own?
If you manipulate me and then later bring me into slavery, you was the master the whole time.
Can I manipulate you? If you are unwilling to be manipulated. If you are an owner of your...
People can manipulate people.
I agree that can happen, but it can't become a lifestyle. You won't give yourself over to being a manipulated person forever. If you are an owner of your life, if you are a person with accountability, with responsibility and independence, you will refuse at some point to take part in the manipulation.
I'm with you.
Because you'll desire the ability to own and earn your own way.
So I'm with you. I get what you're saying, and I see the correlation, but I just think it's two separate things. I think if you look at it through that lens, it can kind of look the same, but I think it's two different things.
There's a phrase Rob just used, and as he was explaining it very well, and the phrase was, they give themselves over. That's scriptural. That's in the New Testament. Many will give themselves over to fill in the blank, sin, corruption, those sorts of things. So that meant somebody had to present the opportunity, and then the potential slave mentality in me sees it as attractive, some easy gain, and I give myself over to it. And this is just the philosophy of how that mindset gets developed. It's unfortunate that it does turn into other things like a prosperous prosperity for your slave masters and those, which is what happened in what would be the slavery that eventually made its way to our continent. Somebody was profiting from that, but unfortunately, it started in a lot of cases probably with those Hebrews back in Egypt. They were lulled into that corrupted mindset. They gave themselves over, because I don't see any evidence in Scripture that it was a violent takeover.
Yeah,
it's the same way. So my concern is for America, and I mean this with my whole heart.
Yes.
I am not downing or preaching or insulting or judging any of us. What I'm saying is, if we, the people of the United States of America, if we are not careful, we will enslave ourselves through this very same system of reward and entitlement. because we're doing it, we're participating in it actively,
Well,
and we're making excuses for it.
I'm a-
And if we take ownership of ourselves, each of us individually, and then we become a unified body of self-accountable people, no one can own us.
That's right.
They can't.
I hear you, Rob. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm like the most optimistic person probably ever. But when I look at the society that we've created, I'm a bit pessimistic. I think it's gonna get worse before it get better. And it's gonna take us to actually go through some stuff for us to see, like, bro, it's really no point in us fighting against each other. We need to be fighting for a way to survive and be one. We need to be unified. Me and you talked about this on the phone last week. It's gonna take for us to have a common enemy for us to realize we need to be one. Until then, bro, we're gonna bring the whole house down.
My hope is that common enemy can be this instead of a person.
I hope so.
My hope is that common enemy can be division, because
I don't see it though. It's too, man. The way people are so passionate about being divided, it's scary, bro. Because man, people love to hate at this moment. Everybody's bickering over nothing. It's like, bro, like, man, everything ain't always right and everything ain't always wrong. But we can find a common ground and say, hey, this is standard and this is how we gonna move. There is no, what is the American way?
the American way.
What is the American way?
Well, it is, their origin of it is just what I'm.
What is
I'm
the American way right now today? What is it?
My
Because
hope,
right now, what I see is a whole bunch of division, people hating on each other, a whole bunch of warring, a whole bunch of people crying and whining about nothing. It seems like that's the culture right now.
Why do you think that what do you think are the origins of that culture? How do we get here? Because we know we didn't start out that way.
I'm gonna tell you, I think it's been so much neglect, so much hurt and pain caused throughout the years that nobody wants to hear anyone else no more. Everybody in the house is having a fit.
is it possible that our mindset has shifted to the point that now we look for and expect the worst in each other?
No, I can't. I don't know about y'all, right? I can't speak for y'all, but I've been in situations in life where I hadn't always lived the most productive life. We didn't always have the most resources, but we had a lot of family, right? And what you find in those situations when you're very limited, but you have to stay amongst each other, you bicker about everything. Life is so bad. People want to commit suicide. Like, I hate it here.
What are they bickering about?
Everything,
Well,
whether it's too hot, whether it's too cold. I don't want this to eat. That's all we got to eat. I want this. I want to go outside. Close the door. Everything is a annoyance. But it's not because the love isn't there. Frustration is there. And Lord forbid somebody do something to somebody. It's hard for them to get over because I got to see this person every day. And I'm living in a situation where I don't want to be in. Everything is wrong. Food don't even taste the same.
What's a prerequisite for frustration?
I don't know.
So, and this is a word that we use a lot in our trainings, and it is either going to be scarcity or abundance.
Okay.
And if you have a scarcity mentality, and Rob speaks well of this when he trains, when we have a scarcity mentality, you're setting yourself up for all of these unnecessary conclusions, frustration being one of them. And I get there. Rob gets there too sometimes, but I don't want to stay there. I need to stop and think, where's my abundance?
I'm not justifying it at all. I'm just saying, yes, when I was coming up, that's the environment that I lived in. And when I look at us as America now, it looks a lot alike. There's a lot of similarities there. And, you know, man, it's just scary to see because nobody wants to hear nobody. Everybody is caught up in what they're feeling and how it impacts them, not understanding that if it impacts you, it impacts them too, bro.
Isn't that the root word of scarcity? They're scared.
Yeah.
What are they afraid of?
Going back to whatever that pain is. But you know, I found that was the meaning for Lion King. Mufasa, Simba couldn't get in his rightful place until he went back to that thing that scarred him so bad, which was his uncle Scar.
Yeah.
It scarred him so bad that he wanted to stay away from it, but he was never able to get to his true self and back in his right. So his family, his kingdom, everything suffered until he was able to go back to that thing that scarred him and be triumphant.
Confront it.
And that's where we are until we get back to say, hey, man, bro, like, we can't do this. Like, you're my brother. We're Americans, bro. This is America first. If we're going to be America first, let's be America first. I can't look down my nose at you and laugh at your failures or your flaws or your hurt. I see that you're hurting. We got to start looking out for each other again.
Yeah.
And it ain't going to be until we go through enough pain to where we say, bro, I'm tired of all this pain. Let's try love.
Let's try love.
Well, I'm going to throw a challenge out there, and I was alluding to it earlier, but it goes along with that. And I'm going to tell you and everybody else, you will get what you look for. You will find everything you seek.
That is a fact.
You will discover it.
Yes.
So when we look for lack,
yeah,
we find it. When we look for hate, we find it. We'll find it in ourselves first.
Yeah.
When we look for disruption, when we look for death, when we look for chaos, when we look for discouragement, any of those things,
correct,
and they're easy to look for, and they're addictive to look for. That behavior becomes like an addiction, and social media feeds that.
Yes.
And God bless social media because we're a part of it. But I mean, I have found myself in it, especially in this political climate that we're in, where everything is so charged. But what I'll tell you out there in the audience, and you two gentlemen that are with me, is we have to change what we're looking for. And that's what I was saying with that expectation. The challenge is change the way you expect everybody else to behave. Whether you're on social media, in person, if you're driving an Uber, expect the best out of everybody. Even if it's a small thing, expect them to be happy. And if they aren't happy, give them your happiness and expect it to have a positive result. Expect the best possible outcome of everything you do. And believe it or not, it may sound so silly. It may sound immature. It may sound unattainable. But the crazy thing is, it's a universal law that you can't beat. If you seek it, if you expect it, you will find it.
Yes.
So if you expect the best, eventually you'll find it. And if you live that life of positive expectation, you'll help other people build a life of positive expectation as well. And if we could spread that around, if we could learn to impart that on our neighbors, on our brothers, on our sisters, on our family, on everybody we meet, we could literally change this world.
That's a thing.
Yeah. So out of love, I am committing to you, and I hope you'll do the same. On this week of Thanksgiving in 2005, my expectations of you, of me, and of all of you will be the best.
Yes.
I expect the best, and I believe that I'll find it, and I hope you'll do the same.
So let me say this also.
Seek it, friends.
Seek it. For me, I'm aware, but I'm not a negative person. That's why I say my view on society is a bit pessimistic, only because I'm aware and I see people unwillingness to view things from a different perspective. But as for myself, man, I'm super optimistic about people. Like, I believe in each one of y'all. I believe in people. I just see that when people get outside of having real relationships with people and they get on social media, they become a different version of themselves. It feeds that negativity and they just buy into it. And they be like, man, we can't continue to move this way. Like, you a good person. When we were just talking, like, you wasn't even talking none of that. You a good person, bro. Like, don't let social media tell you that this group of people is bad or that group of people is bad. You should look down your nose at this person, like this person's struggling and they deserve this and this. It's like, man, come on, bro. You don't even talk like that.
Right.
Like, why are we talking like that now? Because social media dictated to you that's how you should feel. But social media does a good job of striking at nerves, and it causes people to respond. But that's why I be careful with my posts on social media. I have a very diverse friend group, and if I said something back to somebody else and it affected or made someone upset or something, and another one of my I guess another race of friend that I have, right? That's a reflection on me, bro. I got to be more careful with how I present because it is not everybody. It's just individuals make bad decisions, make bad choice of words, have a bad way of looking at things, but it's not the whole. So I'm not going to get on social media and disrespect the whole for a few people. So that's why I say I just choose to face society with love and understanding and compassion as much as possible. The Bible says, as much as possible, follow peace with all men. And I try to do that.
Well, it's a fascinating thing. Oh, go ahead, Chuck.
No, that's good. Thank you. That's good, Ken.
What I was going to say is that the fascinating thing happens when we start to live this positive expectation, this positive with love, like you say.
Yeah.
What we illustrate outwardly is the projection of our inward self. If you want people to believe in you,
you got to believe in
you got to believe in them. And that's how you gain that positive, I hate this word because it's modern, the positive aura. Like, that's how you gain positive momentum. That's how you become a magnet instead of someone who repels. And I'm really grateful that we went off the rails a little bit in this direction, because this is such a good and positive conversation. So I'd like to end the show there, if that's okay with you two gentlemen. I am so grateful. I'm so proud that this could be the conversation that we have for the Thanksgiving week show.
Definitely.
I hate that we got kicked off of TikTok for that. They didn't get to see the resolution and the conclusion of the show, but I'm really proud that we got to have this episode, and I look forward to making the little shorts and reels out of it, because we're going to get some good content out of that. But DJ Man was sure a great guest today. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your friendship.
Yes, definitely, brother.
So, and Chuck, thank you for your shiny head. Thank you for that smile. No, man, you're a good brother, and I appreciate you, both of you.
Yes, sir.
Love you guys.
Love you, brother.
And everybody out there in the audience, thank y'all for allowing us to become a part of the pursuit of your purpose. This has been the Thanksgiving broadcast of the What Are We Doing series. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And our guest today,
DJ Man.
Yes.
Can't really call him a guest anymore. I just call him Brother DJ.
There you go. There you go.
But anyway, y'all have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will talk soon.